What if I told you that everything you have been told about buying a home is a total lie, designed to keep you trapped in a cycle of renting forever? You have probably been conditioned to believe that you need a massive pile of cash, a 20% down payment, and a perfect life just to get your foot in the door of home ownership. But right now, while you are scrolling through listings, dreaming of a place of your own, there is a massive government secret hiding in plain sight that could put you in a house for as little as $1,000 out of your pocket. No, this is not a scam, and no, it is not too good to be true. It is the USDA Rural Development Loan Program, and it is the single most powerful tool for the average person to stop paying a landlord and start building equity today. For decades, the narrative has been that you need tens of thousands of dollars to even think about buying a house. But the United States Department of Agriculture has a mission that most people completely overlook because they think it only applies to farmers or people living in the middle of nowhere. The reality is that the USDA loan program is one of the last remaining paths to 100% financing in the United States, meaning you do not have to put a single penny down toward the purchase price of the home. When you hear people talking about buying a house for $1,000, they are referring to the small amount of earnest money or out-of-pocket costs that remain after the government backs your mortgage. And today, I'm going to pull back the curtain on exactly how you can navigate this system to fire your landlord and move into your dream home this year. To understand how this works, you first have to realize that the USDA Rural Development Program was created to improve the economy and quality of life in rural America. But the government's definition of rural is much broader than you think. You might be picturing a desolate cornfield or a cabin in the woods, but in reality, over 97% of the United States landmass is eligible for these loans, including many thriving suburbs, small towns, and communities just outside of major metropolitan areas. This means you could be living in a beautiful three-bedroom house with a backyard and a garage in a quiet neighborhood, while still being within a short commute to your job in the city. The primary hurdle most buyers face is the down payment, which on a standard $300,000 home could be anywhere from $10,000 to $60,000. With a USDA loan, that requirement is zero, which instantly removes the biggest barrier to entry for the average family. But you might be wondering how you get away with only spending $1,000 if there are still closing costs, appraisals, and inspections to worry about. This is where the real secret comes in. The USDA allows you to roll your closing costs into the loan if the home appraises for more than the sales price, or better yet, you can negotiate with the seller to have them pay your closing costs for you. In a typical real estate transaction, the buyer is responsible for around 3% of the home's price in closing costs. But in a buyer-friendly market or with a skilled agent, you can ask the seller to cover these expenses as part of the deal. If the seller agrees to a seller concession, they essentially take a portion of the sale proceeds to pay for your taxes, title insurance, and lender fees. This leaves you with only the very basic out-of-pocket expenses, such as your earnest money deposit, which is often as low as $500 to $1,000, and your home inspection. Once you reach the closing table, that $1,000 deposit is often the only skin in the game you have actually spent, making the dream of home ownership more affordable than even moving into a new rental apartment that requires first month's rent, last month's rent, and a security deposit. The USDA offers two main types of loans, the Single-Family Housing Guaranteed Loan Program and the Single-Family Housing Direct Home Loan. The guaranteed loan is the most common and is handled through private lenders like banks or credit unions, but it is backed by the USDA. This backing gives the lender the confidence to offer you a zero-down loan with competitive interest rates because the government is essentially co-signing your mortgage. The direct loan program is even more incredible because it is designed specifically for low and very low income applicants who cannot obtain financing elsewhere. In some cases, the direct loan can even provide interest rate subsidies that drop your effective interest rate as low as 1%, making your monthly mortgage payment significantly lower than what you would pay in rent for a similar property. To qualify for these programs, you generally need a decent credit score, usually around 640 or higher for automated approval, though some lenders can go lower with a manual underwrite. You also need to meet certain income requirements, as the program is intended for those who fall within the low to moderate income brackets for their specific area. These income limits are surprisingly generous, often allowing a household to earn close to $100,000 or more, depending on the location and family size. The goal is to help hardworking people who have a steady income but have not had the opportunity to save up a massive down payment due to the rising cost of living and inflation.
The process starts with checking the USDA eligibility map online, which is a free tool where you can type in any address to see if it falls within a designated rural area. You might be shocked to find that the trendy neighborhood you have been eyeing on the edge of town is actually eligible. Once you find an area you like, you need to work with a lender who specializes in USDA loans, because they require specific paperwork and a unique appraisal process. The USDA appraisal is not just about the value of the home. It also ensures the property meets basic health and safety standards, meaning you can rest easy knowing the home you are buying is structurally sound and move-in ready. Some people worry that the USDA process takes longer than a conventional loan, and while there is an extra layer of government approval, a prepared buyer and an experienced lender can usually close the deal in 30 to 45 days. That's a small price to pay for the chance to own a home with almost no money down. Think about where you will be 5 years from now if you keep renting. You will have spent tens of thousands of dollars on a property you don't own, and your landlord could raise your rent or evict you at any time. Now imagine where you could be if you used this $1,000 secret to buy a home today. In 5 years, you will have 5 years of equity built up. You will have benefited from any appreciation in the home's value, and your housing payment will have remained stable while everyone else's rent went up. This is how wealth is built in this country, and for too long, the $1,000 entry point has been kept quiet while people struggle to save for traditional loans. You do not need to be a millionaire to own property. You just need to be smart enough to use the programs that the government has already put in place for you. Stop waiting for the perfect time to buy, because the perfect time is when you can stop throwing your money away and start investing in your own future. If you have $1,000 in the bank and a steady job, you are much closer to being a homeowner than you think. Take the first step today by checking the USDA map, talking to a qualified lender, and realizing that the door to your new home is already unlocked. You just have to be willing to walk through it. The secret is out. The tools are in your hands, and the only thing standing between you and that set of keys is the decision to stop listening to the myths and start taking action on the facts. Home ownership is not just a dream for the wealthy, it's a reality for anyone brave enough to look for the opportunities that everyone else is ignoring. Go out there, find your eligible area, negotiate those seller concessions, and change your financial legacy forever with the power of the USDA Rural Development Program.